Good morning, everyone. This is Zeba Anjum from St. Mary's School, Nagina, and in this video, we are going to see unit number 1 of class 6th. Your book is Let's Click by Friends Publication. I hope you all are good and enjoying your vacations. Please stay at home and stay healthy. So, let us come to the first chapter, that is your computer languages. Yes, so in this chapter, we are going to learn about different languages of computers that you are going to study. See, we are having some portion over here, we are also having. It contains your introduction portion, machine level language, assembly language, high level language, translators, and all those things. Yes, so basically, in this chapter, we are going to talk moreover about your computer languages only. So, see, firstly, let us understand the concept. Why we are learning these computer languages? What is the need of learning these computer languages? You are having grammar, you are learning English first. Since your childhood you are learning English first. Why? Because it is your basic need. Yes, it is a basic need of humans to interact. And if you want to interact with other person, then the other person should understand what you are saying. Yes, so for such kind of interaction, you need a common language. Getting my point? It means if you are speaking in a certain language and if the other person is not understanding what you are saying, then does this means a communication? No, it doesn't contain, or you can say this is not a communication. For a proper communication, what do you need? You need a common language that should be understood by the person A as well as the person B. And that is why you learn computer languages over here. Because over here from your class 6, we are going to start basically our languages. And in the furthermore classes, when you are moving towards your 7th class and 8th class and furthermore, then these languages we are going to learn about in your depth portion. So over here is an so coming back to the languages, over here we are dealing with our computer languages. So it means anyhow we are interacting with the computer. Yes, so now we are going to learn that how or in what kind of languages that we interact with your computer. Yes, some kind of languages we are having, likewise machine language, assembly language, high level language, and furthermore categories we are also having. Over here we are only going to get some overall concept, or you can say an a broad view we are going to get over here. So let us start with the introduction portion. All human beings require a language in order to communicate with each other. Yes, every human being requires a language in order to communicate with each other. In the same manner, a language is required to communicate with a computer. In the same way as you are talking with other person in a common language, if you are talking to a computer, then you need to have a common language so that you also can understand the same thing and your computer also understood the same thing. And that is why we are using these computer languages. There are various computer languages for many purposes. These languages include some special purpose and other general purpose languages. See, we are having a bunch of computer languages because since ages we have defined certain kind of languages. Yes, as per the advancements we are getting another level of language. So at the very initial level we were having machine language, at the very initial level we were having large computers. Yes, now we are having very small size computers now, but over there before ages we were having certainly big size computers, as much big that they contains your whole room. They only a single computer is to be fitted in a single room. That much big computer you were having in the previous days. So over that time we were having one kind of language only, that is your machine language. So see over here, the first category of language is your machine language. Machine language was used in early computers and contained digits 0 and 1 only. Basically these two digits, that is your zeros and your ones, combinedly these two are known as your binary digits. Yes, binary digits we are having zeros and ones. So your every machine can only understands these languages, that is your 0 and 1, whether it be any kind of older machine, or you can say any machine that is of newest version, or you can say whether you talk about Alexa also, it also understands the language of only zeros and ones. But what does we do? We are speaking to Alexa in our normal words. Yes, we are speaking to Alexa in, basically if we say about, we are speaking to Alexa in English. Yes, but some kind of converters are there in it. In the system, some kinds of converters are there. What they are doing, they are taking what we are speaking out and they are converting our language into the language of your computer. That means they are taking our language that we are speaking it out and they are converting this language into zeros and ones, and then your computer understood only. So over there, we are speaking about some earlier computers. Those earlier computers are understood only these machine language, that is your zeros and ones. So all the instructions were made up of combinations of zeros and ones only, which was quite difficult for the operator to learn and understand. You can assume, can you write any single line with the help of zeros and ones? Can you mix and merge the zeros and ones such that they make any sense? I don't think so. Yes, so over that time also the programmers were facing several difficulties for such kind of things. Yes, so to minimize this problem, assembly languages were developed. Yes, so the first kind of language that we have studied about is your machine language, and what they do, they understand only your zeros and ones. That means your binary languages they understand, and the programmers were facing several kind of difficulties for writing such kind of combinations of zeros and ones, and that is why your assembly languages were developed. Now let us learn about your assembly languages. Basically, what are those? Now see over there, mnemonic codes and symbolic addresses are used in assembly languages. Mnemonic codes means what? It means some characters of your English alphabet. Likewise, A, B, C, D, L, L, D. Basically, these characters are having their own meanings that are not understood by us. Yes, so in assembly languages, some mnemonic codes are being used as well as some symbolic addresses are also used. This helps to simplify the hectic process of writing programs. Yes, you can assume previously you were writing the programs in the form of one zeros and one zeros, but now you are writing the programs in terms of your characters, that is your A, B, C, D up till Z. So anyhow the task is easier now. Yes, in assembly language the task is much easier. So generally, the assembly programs are written in modules and put together in the final run. The computer manufacturer provided different software to convert assembly language into machine language program. Time required to write these assembly language programs were much higher, and these programs had limited access as they were specific for different processor. Now what does this whole thing means? See, the things that you have to remember regarding your assembly languages. The first thing that you need to remember is assembly languages uses mnemonic codes as well as symbolic addresses. It means mnemonic codes means some kind of your alphabetical characters they are using. Yes, the second thing, when we are writing any program in assembly language, then we need a converter. Yes, a converter is basically a software. We need a converter that converts your assembly language into machine level language. Yes, because your computer understands only machine language. So even if you are writing your code in assembly language, then you need a special software, and that special software is known as your assembler. Your assembler converts your assembly language into your machine language programs. Now the third important point is that your assembly language is machine dependent. Now what does we mean by machine dependent? It means that let us assume you are having system number 1 and you are writing certain lines of code in assembly language in system number 1. Then those lines of code you cannot use in system number 2. If you want to perform the same task in system number 2, then in the another system you need to write down those code again, depending upon the processor, depending upon the system. It means whatever language, whatever lines of code you are writing over there, that is machine dependent. Yes, for a particular machine, particular lines of code will be there. It cannot be used for another kind of thing. So getting my point? So over here you are having only 3 points to remember in assembly language. Now moving forward to your high level language. See, high level language is very convenient for an operator to instruct a computer. It is very convenient and are popularly used nowadays. Why? Because high level language comprises of basically our English language, our natural language that we are speaking it out. Yes, so those are very convenient for the programmer. They can write down their programs in a very convenient way. So these groups of languages uses simple English language words that are converted into machine language by a compiler or an interpreter. Afterwards, we will learn about the compiler or an interpreter. Firstly, please focus over here that in high level language, we are using our simple English language words. Okay, so simple English language words are converted into your machine language with the help of a compiler or an interpreter. Yes, so now let us see some advantages of this high level language. First one, commands are written in simple English language. Commands are written in simple English language that you can understood as well as you can remember very easily. Second one, knowledge of hardware and binary arithmetic is not required. See, remember over there when we were talking about this machine level language, over there we have to do what? One zeros, as well as your languages are machine dependent. But regarding your high level languages, most of the high level languages are machine independent. That is why your knowledge of hardware and basic arithmetic is not required over here. It is not mandatory over here. Now the third point, programs are not restricted to a particular machine only. It is pointing again towards that point that it is not your machine dependent language. High level language are mostly your machine independent languages. Now coming towards the fourth one, that is programs requires less time and efforts in creation. Why? The reason is very simple, because you are writing the commands in simple English language. That is why your efforts are less, time will be less. Yes, so these are all the four advantages of your high level language. Now coming towards your translators. Remember over there when we are discussing our high level language, over there we have studied about the compilers or interpreters. Your English language, or you can say your high level language, are converted into machine language by a compiler or an interpreter. Now let us learn what is a compiler and what is an interpreter. See, basically, they both comprises of a single thing that is known as your translator. Translator are used to convert high-level language programs into machine languages. They consist of a compiler or an interpreter. Basically, what they do, they convert your high-level language program into a machine language program. Now, remember when we were studying about your assembly language, over there we are using assemblers in assembly language. In high level language we are using translators, and now the compilers as well as your interpreter are basically two categories of your translators. Yes, or you can say two types of translators that we can use over there. Now let us learn about the compiler. Compiler is a more complex software than an assembler, specific for a high level language. These convert high level language program into machine instructions in a single go. It means what? It means, see, basically what compilers and interpreters are doing, they are converting your high level language program into your machine language program. So let us assume you have written 10 lines of code. Yes, in a high level language, you have written 10 lines of code. Now, please don't take any tension that how we are going to write the code or what are the codes. Leave this thing. Assume, just simply assume that you have written 10 lines of code and you have to convert, or the translator needs to convert this high level language into machine level language. Now, there are two ways. Either your translator converts your high level language line by line, or it can convert the whole program into a single throw. If your translator is converting your whole program in a single throw, then it means it is taking the use of your compiler. Yes, because over there at the last line you can see these converts high level language programs into machine instructions in a single go. And if you talk about this interpreters, then these are also work as compilers, but interpreter translate each instruction one after the another. It is taking line by line, and the compiler is taking all the code, all the 10 lines of code within a single throw. So that is the basic difference between your compiler as well as your interpreter. Now moving towards some high level languages. See, the first one we are having is BASIC. BASIC was developed by John Kemeny and Thomas Coates in early 50s. It is a general purpose language very popular among schools and early learners. BASIC stands for Beginners All Purpose Symbolic Instructions Code. Now see, these are some of your examples of high level languages. Over there what you have to learn, these may come in your 1 mark question. Basically, its full form might come. It should also, or you can say it might also come in the form of your fill in the blanks. Yes, so these kind of questions could be there from this portion. So BASIC was developed by John Kemeny and Thomas Coates in early 50s, and it stands for your Beginners All-Purpose Symbolic Instructions Code. Now the second one, Cobol. Cobol was developed to cater to the requirements of the business world and perform tasks like developing and processing accounts, payrolls and stock managements. Basically it is used for what? It is used for developing or processing your accounts, payrolls, stock management, etc. Now again the full form, Cobol stands for Common Business Oriented Language. The third one, Pascal. Pascal is a structured programming language used for business and scientific purpose. It is used for your business as well as your scientific purpose. It is named after a French mathematician, Blaise Pascal, who made the Pascal's adding machine. Yes, it is named after a French mathematician, that is your Blaise Pascal, who has made your Pascal's adding machine. Now the fourth one, Fortran, formula translation. See, the full form of it is formula translation is designed to simplify and speed up the complex scientific applications. Fortran was developed by John Backus. It is developed by John Backus, and Fortran is basically used to simplify and speed up your complex scientific applications. And this Fortran is basically used for research purpose, basically in the field of your mathematics, or you can say in the field of your physics. Now the fifth one, you can see your programming language as Logo. Logo uses turtle graphics to teach logical analysis to children. Yes, it uses your turtle graphics. It means it is taking the use of graphical user interface to teach logical analysis to children. Logo was developed by Seymour Papert. Now the sixth one, C. C is a programming language used often to design system software. Either your system software you can see, or you can say regarding your operating system. Now C is a programming language that is used to design those things. It was developed in 1972 by Dennis Ritchie at AT&T Bell Telephone Laboratory. This is a place where this C was developed. It is developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972, and it is one of the important language nowadays. Regarding your C++, C++ is an object-oriented language popularly used for developing system software. See, again this C++ is used for developing what? A system software. It was developed by Bjarne Stroustrup in 1983 at AT&T Bell Labs to enhance workability of C language. That is why this C++ is known as your enhanced C language. Getting the point? Now C is a programming language, C++ is an object-oriented programming language. But anyhow, this C++ is an advanced version of your C language. In the next class, basically when you will be in the 7th class, yes, then you might be having some programs regarding the C++. Now coming towards the eighth one, that is your Java. Java is an advanced programming language that derives and is ruled by C and C++. Yes, it is very advanced programming language that is ruled over your C as well as your C++. Now Java was introduced in 1995 by Sun Microsystem. Now see, in the 7th class you are going to learn about the C++, and from your 8th class you will be handling this Java up till your 9th or 10th, or if you opt for computer science in 11th and 12th also. So these are all for today's class.